Alligators are kind of like dogs you can get at like pet stores, right? So they look cute and you want to pet them whenever they babies, and then you don't realize how big they're gonna be until you've had them for a little while. The difference between a puppy and these things is these things still have the potential to take your fingers off. So what this little guy's doing, what these little alligators are doing that you're seeing here is they're basking, they're sunbathing. These animals are cold-blooded. They have to actively keep their body temperatures up to around 90 to 98 degrees. And the way that they do that is by doing this. You see those little spikes on the alligator's back? Those spikes are called scutes. They're non-overlapping scales. They have the animal's blood vessels running through them, so they use them like a solar panel. They're also going to use those scales kind of like body armor for the top of the alligator. Those scales are made out of bone. So the top of the alligator is actually pretty hard. The bottom of the alligator is just a little bit thicker than our skin. So looking at the alligator, just its head in the water, you can still tell how big that alligator is. You're going to measure from the nose to the front of the eyes. Whatever you get in inches in that gap is about how long the alligator is in feet. They grow roughly a foot a year first like 6 years of their life. Then their growth rate slows down to maybe an inch or two a year. So 6 feet, 6 years old, 8-foot alligator, or 9-foot alligator in this case, is around 40 years old. Average life expectancy of the American alligator is around 60 to 70 years. 60, 70-year-old alligators, 13 to 14 foot. Front feet of the raccoon is 10 times more sensitive than any other part of that animal's body. It makes up for the lack of eyesight. So they have pads that are kind of like leather, so they can run up and down these trees, run across a bunch of different types of terrain, not hurt the bottom of their feet. But they have to soften those pads up so that they can try to familiarize themselves with their food before they do start trying to eat anything. Raccoons are one of the top 15 smartest animals. They can retain information for like 3 years, then they can teach their babies the exact same thing.
Wow.
They have learned to recognize our tour boats the same way a person gonna recognize a food truck. They see us pulling these little spots and they're like, food, let's go. And they come running right up to us. If it wouldn't be for the fact we feed them, you wouldn't see these animals. What a lot of people don't know about a raccoon is there's about a 60% chance that all the raccoons that you're looking at right here have rabies. 42% of all rabies cases in North America are from people getting bitten by raccoons. Y'all, the name of the area that we're into right here is what's called Northern Dead River. And the reason this area is called Northern Dead River is this is the original bend of the Pearl River. Straightaway that we were on the main river before we turned in here was dug out like 130 years ago. The reason that straightaway was dug out, people stopped using this area commercially, is because of how loggers moved their bigger barges at that point. And the way that was done was by steamboat. There's a bend that's going to be further up here we're going to get into in just a couple of minutes. Too sharp of a bend for the steamboats to push the barges through. So instead of fighting that every day, loggers dug the straightaway out. River ended up taking the straightaway as the path of least resistance, so this area started to close off from the lack of water flow. All this soil built up, vegetation grew in. Wouldn't be for us coming through here, keeping it dug open a couple of foot deep, it closed off pretty much entirely. So during the day, you can shut the motor off. If there wasn't any other boats around, you can shut the motor off, be perfectly quiet, and you could just about fall asleep out here. It's so quiet and so peaceful. At night, you come out here, you shut the motor off, and you just sit here for a while. It's deafening with the noises that start coming out of the trees if you sit there long enough. Alright, y'all, we're gonna ease on out of here, get y'all back out to the main part of the river, get y'all back down towards the dock.